Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Thaddeus, you gonna do it? You were just
Come on, Thad, turn up. Sing it.
The best things in life are free.
Welcome to the good life.
We feel like AC, it feel like Atlanta, it feel like New England, it feel like Seattle. That's
Super Bowl, baby!
Whoa.
Well, it's not here yet.
We know who's going to the Super Bowl, though.
We do. Whether we like it or not, the two teams have been.
Yes. Welcome back to another week of Playoff Edition, Monday Night Football. I'm your host, Christina Kaplan. Look who's back next to me.
Thaddeus Massey in the house.
Yeah. And
Never quiet like a mouse. And I'm Kevin John. And that was a bad rhyme.
That was actually a good one.
Yeah, you like
I actually like
that was
that
cute,
one.
Kevin.
But
And I'm
Thaddeus is...
Stef Z.
Yes. Thaddeus is kind of quiet
you
like
are.
a mouse sometimes.
Never quiet like a mouse.
Never quiet like a mouse.
Not
Kind
small
of
like
is,
one either.
especially when he doesn't show up.
That's true. That's true.
Nothing.
Anyways.
Yes.
So we
Get
had
it.
Green
Big
Bay
Daddy
and
is
Seattle and New England and Indianapolis.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you couldn't have picked two different games. I mean, it was just like from one spectrum to the next.
Polar
in terms
opposite.
of how the games actually went down.
Absolutely.
And which was, I thought was interesting was everyone said, at least at NFL Network, everyone was saying, oh, the only team that really has a chance of winning on the road is the Colts. The Green Bay has no chance. And it was like the complete opposite. Green Bay should have won that game. They really should have.
But you got to keep it real. Andrew Luck, he's pulled some comebacks out of his rear. So I can.
Wait, Andrew Luck?
Yeah, well, as far as the Colts Patriots game, some of them said they would be more likely to win on the road. I mean, Andrew Luck has pulled off some incredible comebacks on the road.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd understand that.
And the Colts have been playing well their last two games, the wild card and the divisional round.
This is
They
clutch
played
time, his
great,
baby Tom Brady, 6 times going. He's just that's his experience. You're not gonna beat this dude in that situation. It's not gonna happen.
Smoking LeGarrett's blunts. Watch out, man.
Right? Smoking LeGarrette blunts.
He was. It's crazy. Like the last time they played in the AFC, I think it was.
That sounded
the
like a product placement.
Yeah, it did.
kinda
Steelers are pissed. Who got the last laugh?
I
Pittsburgh.
know, right?
Who got the last laugh? LeGarrette's going to the Super Bowl, and guess who ain't?
But it was
Steeltown.
the last time that LeGarrette faced the Colts. He had like 3 touchdowns in the game too, or something crazy like that.
That dude balled out. What do you have, like
Yeah.
157 yards or something
4
like
touchdowns.
that? 3. Was it 3 or 4? 3? 3 touchdowns?
All right. Well,
Anyway, he
we're gonna
balled.
go to
Yeah,
We're gonna look it up.
Yeah, he had like
3
30
or
carries,
4,
but he balled out.
Yeah.
For a conference championship game to do like to just perform like that at that
He
level.
had 3 touchdowns.
He had 3
3 touchdowns,
touchdowns.
148 yards.
That's balling on any level. High school, college, pro.
He said high school.
High school, 3 touchdowns is good.
Hey, that's balling at the Pop Warner level.
Little
Middle
league.
school.
You're
Little
balling.
league.
And he does that
Flag
like
football,
conference,
touch,
NFL,
two-hand
conference.
touch. That's the shit.
No.
Powder puff?
Two-hand touch and flag. No, you had to score like 6 touchdowns to be tight. Flag. But NFL
tight.
conference championship, 3 touchdowns, he balled out.
Yeah.
He did.
He balled out.
And you know,
And you could tell he was running with purpose. This guy, he
had something to prove.
He's a big dude who has great feet, good vision, and he's not afraid to put his shoulder down and make contact with somebody. On the opposite end, you got Marshawn Lynch, who is like running the city. These guys are like throwback runners, and it's so good to watch this like throwback style of running. They're really like smash mouth type of guys.
Yeah.
I agree. The funny thing, though, I would say the difference between the both of them, LeGarrette is a little more patient, I think, with finding the holes, whereas Marshawn just freaking pounds the damn hole.
Yeah,
Like,
he'll just bounce off people
exactly.
and spin
He'll bounce
around.
and spin and,
Bulldozer.
and then grab his crotch before going in the end zone.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
I think the reason that is because it seems as if LeGarrette might have another gear that Marshawn doesn't have.
Ooh.
But Marshawn is a little more physical than LeGarrette.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's
More
because
powerful.
and probably because he
Strong, yeah.
has to be because
Beast
of the
mode.
speed as
Yeah.
well. You know, LeGarrette has that long stride, so when he actually breaks a tackle or straight arm someone, he can actually gain that separation and just kind of take off and get
going.
away.
Yeah. Breakaway speed.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Beast Mode's team.
Beast Mode.
And talk
Does he have a
about
little southern accent?
No,
there?
that's how he says it. He's like Beast Mode.
Oh, that's how Marshawn says it?
Beast Mode.
Base him out. He's from the
I
Bay
didn't-
Area.
Does he close
I
his
didn't
eyes
know
like
Marsh-
that? Can you
I
do it
didn't-
one more time? She doesn't
Hold on,
work
hold
well.
on,
She
on
got in
command.
character.
Beast Mode.
All I want to see that loop. Base mode.
I don't know if I'm more
Base
shocked
mode.
by her impersonation of it or the shock that Marshawn actually talks.
I know,
So,
right?
That's
He's
wow.
been playing the game.
What was
They've been
the
giving him
last?
props for
Yeah,
playing the game.
the last interviews that he had, he was saying like,
I'm thankful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thankful.
I'm thankful. I'm
They're
thankful.
like, so Marshawn, tell us about your charity that you have coming.
I'm
thankful.
thankful.
I'm thankful. So what was your objective coming into this game? I'm thankful.
I mean, I'm just speaking as like a reporter's point of view. That's very frustrating
Oh,
because
yeah.
you are an athlete. Part of being an athlete is you have to talk to the media. You don't have to give these long, elaborate answers, but at least say something.
Or at
Okay.
least he could have said something to answer those questions
Right,
in a
a
blanket
short-
way, rather
Exactly.
than
short
being
little
so blatantly
yeah.
disrespectful and like he's not even listening to what they're
Right.
saying.
Exactly.
You know, he could have been like, "I'm thankful. How's the charity thing going? Well."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he could have said that blanket
Exactly.
answer,
For
different
example,
verbiage
like
to make
Bill
it make
Belichick.
sense.
Bill Belichick won't elaborate. He'll
Oh,
just give
Jesus.
short, quick answers.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
least he answers the question.
Right.
You know
well,
what I mean?
kind of in like
Whereas
a douchey way too.
Yeah.
Love
Well-
him, great coach. He has an attitude in his interviews.
He's not the most likable coach there is, but still, at the end of the day, he answers the question.
But
And
he's
I think with
excellent.
Marshawn, I think it's just kind of disrespectful if you ask
Yeah.
me. I'd like,
Yeah.
you know, these are reporters. Their jobs are to interview. Your job as an athlete, like you said, is it comes with the territory. You have to be, and I just think it's really disrespectful. And I think it also just puts a bad taste out there for kids that watch and look up to him. He's just showing such arrogance and such, you know, I don't care. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna do
it's
my
part
own
of the
thing.
game,
so.
man. That's why you get.
I don't agree with any of that.
Of course, he doesn't.
I don't. I mean,
Can you be a mouse right now?
I mean, listen. No, I'm not going to be a mouse. I'm gonna speak up for Marshawn. I think Marshawn is Marshawn. Everybody has different personality traits, and he's not the most verbose or talkative person.
But
Obviously,
Thaddeus,
that goes
you
without
can
saying.
dude.
No, Thaddeus, you can
Listen.
still be an introvert and not verbal and answer a question with a few words. You don't have to
Listen,
be.
at the end of the day, this guy has a way of handling certain situations that's comfortable for him. That's out of his zone. He gets paid to play football. I understand there's a media clause and blah, blah, blah. You have to talk to the media or whatever, but that's the minority part of your job. At the end of the day, nobody's complaining.
What do you mean about Marshawn?
That doesn't.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, because
not-
he's
at the
performing.
NFL, he's getting fined a lot, actually.
Yeah.
every
Okay.
time
That has
happens.
nothing to do
Okay.
with the fact that it's disrespectful to the people that report on him to get the fans to do like.
Yeah,
what
think
you're
about the
saying has
fans.
nothing to do with what we're saying. It's
Yeah.
like little kids looking up to him, completely disregarding what the reporters and people are asking them.
Exactly.
It's kind of unnecessary.
It's
Well,
just
this
That's
has,
all
been,
I'm
this has
saying.
been kind of a tug of war for a while now. So it's like, who's going to win this battle? Is he going to give in and just do what
But it's a
they
dumb
want?
tug
Or
of
is
war.
it kind
It's
of...
a- exactly.
He should
It
have
is
just
a
done
du-
it from the
it-
beginning, and then the focus would be on his football, like what he's getting paid to do, rather
Yeah.
than wasting energy on something that has
It's
that
just-
he's just
it's
being
just-
an
it's
idiot.
That's the
real
thing.
selfish.
He's not wasting any energy.
He is. He wastes more energy to be a douche and deflect that stuff rather
Now,
than
see,
just going with it.
do you think he's being a douche?
I think so. He's being disrespectful. Absolutely.
So you
Yeah,
think
it's
because he's not
absolutely
answering the
disrespectful.
questions that he's not...
No, I don't think he needs to answer the questions. I think he needs to acknowledge there's a way to not answer questions.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
there's a way to be interviewed and not give any information
Exactly.
and not answer questions.
still
There's
be
also
respectful.
a way
I
of
agree.
disrespecting and disregarding what you're being asked in something that you're getting paid to do. There's
Well,
two different things.
I can also attest to this. There's things that go on behind the scenes that we don't see as well.
Of course, but
Like
that happens to
anything, but the
every
things
player.
we do
That's
see-
every player.
We're not talking about every player. We're talking about Marshawn Lynch.
Exactly, and I'm saying if every player has to deal with things behind the scenes, but yet they still answer
Everybody
questions, why
handles
can't
the-
Marshawn?
Everybody handles things differently.
I
That
think-
doesn't
But
mean
if
his
you
his
notice-
way is the wrong way. It's just
Maybe
how
he's
he's
not
handling
black
it.
I
Oh,
think
he's definitely black
definitely
enough.
black enough.
Yeah,
He might be a little
black.
too black, if there is such a thing. I don't know.
I'll show you two black, Tina
Speaking,
Cap.
no, speaking of that, let's
Wow.
happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone's seen it. I really want to see Selma. I've heard
it's really good.
Marissa says it's good. Yeah, I've only heard amazing things about it from fans and critics.
It was so great. It didn't get any nominations. That's how great
it
ridiculous.
It got Best Picture, which is a huge category, and it got Best Original Song.
Yeah, but it got snubbed on a lot of
snubbed for
other
Best
stuff.
Director.
I was just testing you to see if you were
Yeah.
black enough tonight, Kevin. That's what I was just testing to see if you were there.
Of course, man. I
But
follow that.
Today
Okay.
I looked up, some quotes, unknown quotes of Martin Luther King Jr. And it's just, he was such a just knowledgeable, intelligent, beyond his years type of guy. You know what I mean? The things that he was preaching at that time, nobody, even most people didn't listen to him, thought, what is this guy talking about? And you look back on it now, and it applies to anybody's life. The things that he has to say had to say were, just mainly equality for everyone, which who wouldn't think that that's right?
Do you mind, Tina, if I just share my favorite MLK quote?
No,
it's
go
very
ahead.
short. It is, faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the staircase. And I think that's something that is applicable to pretty much any walk of life. It's I love your smile you're giving me right now.
It's applicable to sports too, because
Boom.
if you don't have faith in your team, you don't have faith in your coach, you have no idea what the
skills,
outcome of the game is going to be. But if you have no faith and you're afraid to take that first step, you guys are not going to win.
Exactly.
So,
and he
now-
defied the odds.
Now let me ask
And
you
It
guys.
was a timeless message.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you listen to the I Have a Dream speech and go back, and I know this because I had to do it for classes all last week, a lot of stuff that he says in there is so timeless and can apply even till today, the world that we live in now. And it's just so profound. Every stanza, every word in there, there's so much substance and depth to.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
Spoken like a true teacher.
Right.
Every stanza.
Yeah.
I use slang in class as well. I use words that
I would love to sit into your class.
I know,
You
me
should.
too.
Oh my
tomorrow,
God.
Culver City Middle School. See you guys there.
Wait, really?
Mr. Peters.
That's really close to me.
Can I go to the bathroom?
I
Oh yeah,
live
that's
in
right down
Culver
the street
City.
from NFL Network.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
right off.
gosh, I
Anyways,
wanna
I'm like
say it.
saying where I work.
You should
on
set
the
up a
air.
field trip.
I know
for the
we
kids.
should. We could be guest speakers.
That's a really good idea. Let me talk to.
This is why I'm the smart one. See, he
Anyway,
just thought of this
we're
a
off
long
subject.
time
We're
ago.
off subject. We're off
Yeah,
subject.
let's jump
We're
back
off.
on the rails.
Back on the rails. Speaking of faith, having faith in someone, aka your quarterback. Let's talk about the evolution of Russell Wilson from the first half to the second half, and what did you? I mean, I'll tell you what I thought of the first half. I was just blown away at how bad he played. Granted, a couple of those interceptions were tips and caught off. They weren't blatant interceptions, but still. His stats, I should have wrote them down. My dad and I were watching, we're like, oh my God. It was like 2 for 19 and like
3
70
interceptions.
or maybe not even 70. He had like
50
just
yards, 3
no,
interceptions.
yeah, it was so bad. And then my
But
dad,
beast mode helped make up for that.
yeah, and then my dad goes, well, just wait till the second half. It's going to be the Russell Wilson show. And, of course, my mom was upset because she wanted the Packers. And she's like, you always jinx it. You give out the bad juju. Because look what happened. The Russell Wilson show showed up and, just turned it around. But so give me your guys' perspectives on the transformation there from first half to the second half.
I'll say this, and this is to take nothing away from Russell Wilson. Obviously, he's one of the brightest young quarterbacks, along with Andrew Luck in the league. But the thing I will say about Russell is he really benefits from having a great team around him. If you put any other quarterback in that situation where they throw 4 interceptions, 70 yards, their teams would probably be getting blown out. But for the simple fact that he can rely on beast mode, who I personally feel was the savior on that game in the second half.
148 yards,
Oh, yeah.
yes. And
I believe he was the savior of that
Because of their pedestrian receivers.
second.
We can get to that later, but
Yeah.
yeah, keep going.
But their defense kept it close. Just think about it. They had Green Bay had 2 4th and goal stands up where they
in
just
that
couldn't
first
field goal.
quarter, they should have scored
Yeah.
in both of those drives.
Yeah.
So, between Seattle's defense and Marshawn Lynch just erupting, I feel Russell is blessed that, he can even have a bad game and his team around him is so good they can keep him in it. And there's not a lot of quarterbacks that have that benefit or privilege in the league to where they can play horrible and their teams will still keep them good. But still, hats off to Russell. I mean, he made the plays in overtime and the pass to Curse.
That game-winning touchdown throw was just.
To add to what you were just saying, I think that a lot of that, maybe not all of it, but a lot of that comes even from Pete Carroll. Like his attitude and charisma and what he's done for those players to make them a team. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that attitude is what makes games like this happen.
Yeah.
I love Carroll versus Belichick for this game too, especially since Carroll used to be over there.
Yeah, I think
with the Patriots back in the day. He was like the coach right before Belichick went there, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah.
He was there for
After Carroll, it was Belichick.
You were going to say a day.
Yeah, I know.
That
I was thinking of Belichick
at
at the Jets, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, the two top coaches in the NFL right now going head-to-head. I mean, you saw the play calling in that Seattle game when they had that fake punt to the linebacker who scored the touchdown.
I know.
Like,
that was crazy.
But it's so funny because you saw the play last week, Edelman's throw in the Patriots game. So they both got trickery. Like everyone was really making a big deal out of that this week with the Patriots. And I'm not a Patriots fan, but they did something as cool.
Yeah. They had the same type of, ineligible, eligible receivers that they did in the previous week that they did in this week too, and we can talk more about that later. But yeah, I agree with what you were saying, both you, Kevin and Thaddeus, that Marshawn Lynch was really the savior for that team because Deion Sanders called Jermaine Kearse and Doug Baldwin and all those guys pedestrian receivers. Ooh. And so, because if you think about it,
Deion can do that.
They are. I mean, none of those guys, they're not big guys. They're not big name guys. Like, you don't have a Rob Gronkowski. You don't have, even Edelman's not really like a big name guy, but you could go,
he's been making plays.
You don't have a Randall Cobb. You don't have a Jordy Nelson type big play, wide receiver, well-known guy on that team. They're all kind of, not mediocre.
Pedestrian.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great word for them, I guess. But so after the game, I think it was Jermaine Kearse in his interview was like, yeah, we pedestrian, huh, Deion? Oh, we just we go into the Super Bowl, but we just went off because he was so pissed.
That's awesome.
And
Deion would have been like, yeah, you still are.
You still are.
He did. I'm pretty sure that's the way he responded because if you saw, yes, the game-winning touchdown was to Kearse, but every other interception that got thrown
one was off his hands,
to Kearse.
And it bounced right off his hands and then into the
right.
But to Deion's defense, yesterday, the Seahawks really did play a crappy game. The better team was Green Bay yesterday for anyone that saw.
Well, yes and no, but they kept them to not getting touchdowns. Like the score, if the score was like 28-0, maybe Russell Wilson, he would have lost his. You know what I mean? Maybe they would have lost that mojo or momentum or. Able to come back out of it and win. So I don't agree.
Well, I'll say this: their offense was definitely, or the passing offense, the receivers quarterback
they were lacking.
was lacking.
But the D was.
Do you want to hear
a completely different situation?
A crazy stat.
Yeah.
Yes.
With 4 minutes left in the game, the odds of Seattle winning were 3.9%.
Where do they come up with these stats from?
I don't know. My producer told us at work last night.
But the funny thing is,
hold on, time out. They did not do it without help, though, because the odds of somebody on the onside team missing a ball that comes right through their hands is probably 1% that someone would miss that.
Well, because he was supposed to block.
I know, 0.1.
Jordy Nelson was right behind him.
And we're talking about Brendan Bostic.
Yes. Bostic was supposed to block that player right in front of him. Instead, he goes up to try and catch it.
Just
right off the face, man.
That's what I wanted
There's algorithms to this stuff, guys.
That's what I want to ask you guys. It seems like there's been so in the Cowboys-Lions game, that call where they didn't call pass interference and the Cowboys ended up winning. Then the Cowboys-Packers game where they didn't they called they reversed the catch on Des Bryant and the Packers ended up winning. Then not that this was a call, but just like a silly play. It seems like there's one game-turning moment in every one of these games that have been close that just, if it weren't for that one call or that one kind of bonehead play,
but again,
the result would have been different.
And I think we all just go back to the same, with those calls, we were all like, yeah, but they could have played better, but they could have done this. So I feel like it's got to be the same. But as you were talking about that, it made me think of something. I think the Dallas Cowboys would have beat the Seattle Seahawks that showed up for the game.
Oh,
yesterday.
100%.
I agree too. I do agree.
Because they had Des Bryant.
Des Bryant was owning Richard Sherman when they played earlier in the season.
They would have capitalized on all those turnovers.
Speaking of Richard Sherman, let's talk about the fact that Aaron Rodgers didn't go towards his side at all once he injured himself. Why not
in the beginning,
expose that injury and force him to tackle?
Yeah, because also
that made no sense to me.
I agree, because Richard was lined up against Jordy too, who was their playmaker receiver, and I don't know why Rodgers didn't take a shot. It was obvious. It was like his arm was in an invisible sling out there.
Did we know what happened? Do we know that?
Yeah,
it was on a tackle.
He's
they're
getting
talking
an MRI
about it
or
was like
something.
a tendon or something, like not a tear, but like a hyperextension or something.
When you're on the field, stuff goes on. Guys fake injuries on the field all the time.
So
they bait people in the stuff all the time. So who knows what he was thinking? Like
because if Sherman was really that injured, I don't think his staff would have cleared him to go back in the game. If it was really broken or something like that.
Well, it wasn't broken. It was just like nerve damage or something. But that's what Terrell Davis was saying today. He's like, oh, I would have found out if he was faking it.
Exactly.
You know, like
exactly.
And
go at him.
And LeVar even said, who was on our show last week, he said,
big ups,
why
LeVar.
not put someone like Corliss on Richard Sherman, who's a bigger receiver, have Jordy Nelson block and put Corliss on him and try to expose that injury.
That gives him a lot of respect.
I was really surprised that they didn't even try to go towards him with that.
Well, I think, since when Richard had that first interception in the first quarter in the end zone, I think that may have shook Rodgers up. Even despite the fact that he was injured, Rodgers may still have been thinking in his head, man, this guy can do anything. So
yeah, but besides that, you got to think about the defense as a whole. The defense as a whole, coming off of the week before the Cowboys, their defense is so much more dynamic that I think just as the game went on, there were some things going on schematically that just kind of shook the whole game.
But you got to realize, Earl Thomas was injured too. They're Pro Bowl free safety.
Yeah.
And you got him and Richard Sherman, which is one half of Legion of Boom, which is injured. He should have been attacking that last quarter, especially on that last drive. He should have been attacking. And I just don't. I don't know if it was his cat. I don't know what to blame it on, but I agree. I would have been going at like Terrell said. I would have tested to see if Richard was really injured.
Right.
Well, but maybe he thought that even him at 50% or whatever percentage was still too dangerous.
Exactly.
And a lot of people
which is a lot of respect to give somebody.
That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of respect. A lot of people say Richard Sherman at like 75-70% is still going to be better than half the corners in the league that are at 100%.
Right.
Just
so
like
you're still not going to you want to go ahead and test him?
Yeah.
Do you want to test him? Do you want to test it? Do you really want to test him? And do you really want to test him?
You tell us that.
I don't know.
Do you really want to?
Aaron Rodgers is a standout quarterback.
Probably the MVP this year, too.
And he didn't want to do it.
Well, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, he played so well. You would have never known he was injured until he had to make that run.
That run.
Yeah.
And you saw him just
Gimping.
straight
He was
limping
gimping down the
something.
field.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, he's really hurt.
Yeah.
But you would have never known before that. He played so well.
Right.
And
Aaron's the man.
It was.
He's going to pump you up.
Yeah, but he doesn't
Nice
even
product
say it
placement.
with that
Gotta love
much,
those commercials.
like. That commercial bugs me, though, because he's so just like, I'm going to pump you up.
Those
he's
two
just
guys
so,
are just so annoying in there.
Hans and Franz?
It's
It's from Saturday Night Live. You never seen that skit, Hans and Franz?
It's still not that funny to me. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't.
Well,
That's
you
'cause you
don't
never
know
watched the
old
skit.
school
Yeah,
Saturday
you don't
Night
know.
Live.
Well, I know funny, and that's not that funny to me.
I would
You're not
have
familiar
to
with the skit,
disagree with the
Kevin.
fact that
Yeah.
you know funny, Kevin.
Yeah, they got defensive over there.
man.
I'm no more talking about
I don't know,
Fonzie.
man.
They
I'm
got
saying that.
He knows
defensive.
funny. He knows funny.
That.
Funny looking.
Ah, it's so hilarious.
Leave him alone.
Speaking of funny-
Steph, since when are you backing him up?
Because I didn't do anything wrong.
Because the 49ers didn't go anywhere this year like they were supposed
Now
to.
he has nothing to say. It's great.
I admit that.
almost
we
got
haven't
through a
had-
whole
I
show
know.
without saying the 49ers.
Dang, I know. We almost did. Because last week, of course,
I
he
don't
had
have
to-
much Jet
to bring it
stuff,
up, but-
except later when we talk about the Patriots
There's
cheating
like-
again, how they stole the videos for us. But, we'll just get into that later.
Spygate.
So okay, let's talk about
Back
the
to the game.
end of that game.
Yes.
Where Clinton Dix, who had an exceptional game until the end of that game, until that stupid 2-point conversion
I
where
don't
he
even
just
think he
stood
saw
there.
it. I don't think he didn't know the ball was snapped.
And they asked, I think they asked Russell Wilson in his post-game interview, if you had 10 chances to throw that ball, would you be able to make it, or 100 chances, something like that, would you be able to make that throw again? He's like, no. That was just a ridiculously lucky throw, and they, Clinton-Dix just...
He made it once. He could do it again.
I'll just say this. From watching just that last drive play out from the bounced, outside kick to that crazy throw, it was funny. I was reading tweets from, some of the NFL analysts, and one of them put, if there's a God, he must love the Seahawks, because I have no way to explain what I just saw. And I kind of have to say the same thing. I mean, and just not to take anything away from the Seahawks. Not to take anything away from them.
Yes.
But it was really, they got a lot of luck on their side in that game. I mean,
that was
a lot of luck.
So fun.
It was an amazing game. I mean, that's what you want to see. The Patriots game was so boring. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of stopped watching towards the second, third, fourth quarter. I was just like, all right, it's just boring now when they just completely blow people out. You want to see that where they're fighting, they go into overtime, and that game-winning throw by Russell Wilson. It was like there was such good coverage. Whoever that defender was from Green Bay, he was. He did his best. He did the best thing he could.
Coverage,
you could not have covered any better.
He blanketed him.
Yeah, he could have. He could have broke up the pass.
Okay,
and I'm sure that's what he's thinking.
Right.
And I'm sure that's what other players are thinking. I would have broke that up.
Right, but you can't just be like what we're saying is watching it. There was
of course he was on him.
He did well.
He was great.
Yeah.
It was great coverage.
Yeah, it was just a great catch.
He gloved him up, and the pass was right there.
Right.
It
was a pretty ballsy pass too. I was shocked when he first threw it. I'm like, what are you doing?
That pass was perfect.
He was going for the win.
Yeah, it was. So you got to give the Seahawks credit, even though I did want the Packers to win. They played great. They came from behind. Their first half was not good at all. They cannot afford to play like that against the Patriots, that's for sure. No. But they definitely fought back. And
they held Aaron Rodgers to, 178 passing yards, something like that?
Yeah.
Really, he didn't have a lot of yards passing.
Well, I think Green Bay overall was playing really conservative. And you saw that once, with their 2 4th and go, they could have went for it the first one. I think it was 4th and inches, and they elected. But, I just think that their play calling was very conservative, especially once they got it. And, I question McCarthy, because he's a great coach, too. But I feel that in the end, I think playing too conservative is what cost them the football game. I think, especially on the road in a game like that, those 4th and goes, you have to go for it. I mean, you have to expect the other team to come back like they did.
In the playoffs.
Well, I've been saying this all season. You establish a strong run game.
Yeah.
You have a strong defense. You're going to pretty much
How
beat
much did Lacey run for that game?
Not nearly as much as Marshawn, obviously, but
73 yards.
Yeah, they couldn't really get him going too much.
But it wasn't even half of what it was about. It was about half of what.
Well, Lynch is just beast.
And we've got to give props.
Well, there you go.
We've got to give a little props to Mason Crosby. He was. He did everything he could have as far as
5 field goals, I think it was 4 field goals. 5?
Yeah, and that really long one to tie up the game.
Exactly, 48, 49 yarder.
Yeah, which I can't imagine. People give kickers.
Points.
People give kickers crap all the time, but imagine being under pressure and playing at CenturyLink with how loud that was, making that clutch field goal. If you miss this, the game's over.
Yeah.
You got to give him props. But so let's move over to the second game. The Patriots.
There's not much to talk about there.
Yeah, really. We'll just quickly mention it so we can get into our preview of the Super Bowl, which I think is going to be more interesting, obviously. So, I don't think anyone expected the Colts to only put up 1 touchdown, and nor did we expect the Patriots to just unleash and go off like that. I thought there was a chance that they would beat them pretty handily, but not 45-7. So
the Garrett Blunt baby.
Yeah.
He unleashed the blunt force they called it.
Yeah, exactly.
He really came with it. And I really think he has a lot to prove, especially with what he dealt with earlier this season. So he came in there with
he was a man on a mission.
His mind on his money and his money on his mind kind of situation type of deal.
And does anyone know
Snoop Dogg reference.
Right.
Trent Richardson sat out, and according to the injury reports, it was for personal reasons. I tried looking up, more information about it. I meant to ask somebody at work last night, but I couldn't find out why. But I mean, I think that was a really crucial missing part of the Colts offense there, their ground game, you know, in missing Richardson. And for personal reasons, like,
that's fishy.
Right? Doesn't that
smells
seem
real
weird?
fishy. Something may be going on behind the scenes we don't know about.
Did he
Definitely
didn't
something
even make
going on
the
behind
trip
the
though,
scenes.
right?
Yeah.
Did he?
I think he was there.
Maybe something's
If
going
you
on.
guys
I mean,
didn't make
If
the
any of you
trip.
know, let us know, please. Like,
yeah, something's.
you know,
I mean,
leave us in the
if
comments
it's personal
or anything.
reasons, it may have something to do with his family. Anything
Yeah,
could be
I
going
felt like
on.
it
But
was some.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. You
Family's
know,
not important, but your
but
AFC
this is,
championship.
yeah. I mean, obviously, if it's a dire emergency, you have to be there. Someone's, you know, gonna pass away or something like that. Yes, okay, I get it. But I mean, it's got to be like really major, I would think, to miss.
So it probably is. If
Because you
it's
see
personal
players
reasons,
miss
then it's
the births of their children for games
Yeah,
like these.
yeah.
it's a
You know.
conference. It's a conference championship
Yeah.
game, and he can't make it for personal reasons. It has to be something serious.
That's
Yeah.
it may not be family. It may be something else going on behind the
It's
scenes.
something
Yeah.
serious.
So
No one in their career is going to miss a game like this for personal reasons unless it's something serious. And I'm sure it's going to come out later.
and it's crazy. Yeah, I was gonna say it's crazy how it hasn't come out yet, or somebody hasn't, especially this day and age with social media and stuff, that nobody has commented on it. But
Right.
There was an article on ESPN about it. I just don't remember what it said.
So what
They
you
did
guys
say like I'm pretty sure he didn't make the trip. I could
Really?
totally
Wow.
be wrong, but I feel like
Well, if he didn't make the trip, it's definitely something
yeah,
could be
like,
something
because
criminal,
why would it
too.
be
You never
like
know.
that seems super weird that it's a personal reason so
Yeah.
you're gonna go sit on the bench.
yeah.
yeah.
That seems
Let's talk about
Fantasy
it up.
sports guru, if you know, send tell us.
yeah,
He knows everything.
fantasy stats.
Thank
Guru.
you. I said fantasy sport. Sorry, fantasy.
I like to give him a shout out because did you guys see what he said? He's like, now time to make Kevin look bad statistically or something like that.
Time to
No,
make
I
you look
didn't see it.
statistically
It was so
incorrect.
funny. I was just like, oh, that is great because he just threw out all these. I don't know
Yeah,
where.
no, he didn't go. Trent Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts doesn't travel for an AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots. He didn't go.
And it doesn't say why.
I'm gonna open it up.
Anyways,
Keep going.
fantasy stats guru, wherever you get your stats.
Fantasy stats
I mean,
guru.
he comes up with the greatest
Yes.
stuff that I'm just like, what? That's awesome.
Even if his stats make my predictions look bad or my prediction winning percentage look
No, they
bad,
just
he
say-
still is great at it.
He
They
doesn't
just
really
say family reasons, but I don't think that he wasn't active the game before, wasn't he? Didn't
Yeah, because I don't
play.
remember seeing him the
know.
game.
So it was like
Maybe it's something.
It's something fishy going on there.
Anyways, I don't think he would have been able to help that much.
No.
You know, the
You
Colts.
never know.
The Colts just were not the same team that we saw these in the wild card in the divisional round.
They might have had 21
Now let me ask you
points.
this: how much of that do you think the alleged deflated balls had to do with it?
I don't think it had anything to do with it, honestly. I was talking to somebody else at work today too about that. I'm like, and he's a Colts fan. He's like, the Colts would have known, like they would have felt if it was a
well, I
deflated
thought
ball.
they were saying
you
that they
know?
were using different balls because they specifically said it was the balls that Brady was using was deflated.
Oh,
which gave
so
him
they
the
were
advantage.
bringing back regular balls for luck and.
He was using.
Because doesn't every team use their own ball when they go out
Yeah.
there?
They have their own people that bring out the balls.
Well, I don't know then.
You know what
Dun,
I
dun,
think
dun.
about it, and again, like I'm just saying this in general. I think that something, Ballgate. I think that something, if that really was the case, and I'm not saying it's the case, Brady and the Patriots annihilated the Colts, hands down, got it. But if that's really the case, the penalty for it, if they think that something is making the ball easier to catch, easier to handle on the field, giving them the advantage, the penalty, $25,000 fine. So it's like you can cheat to get in the Super Bowl,
That's
and
it?
all you're gonna get is a $25,000 fine.
Because think how much more
And
money the team's
it
going to
could
make.
affect their like draft pick or something. But it's like
That
you're
seems-
still going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that seems a little.
25
Yeah.
grand, that's it?
But
Yeah,
it's funny
because they said
what's-
they're looking into it. They
fine,
made
yeah.
the NFL released a statement saying they're looking
Yeah.
into it.
And
Dun,
I
dun,
think
dun.
and again, I know that you might have walked away, but I think what triggered it was when the ref changed the ball out. Like there was a shot, I don't know if you guys remember watching it, but there was a shot where you saw them, it was like just taking time, and it wasn't like a TV timeout or anything like that, but there was a shot, they switched the ball, and you actually saw the guy on the sideline with like the zipped up case of balls reach for a ball and get a new ball. And they said that the refs are supposed to know, because there's very specifics of what the ball is supposed to weigh,
Right.
and
Yeah.
they should be able to tell by picking up the ball that it's that it's not the correct
Yeah, you can
weight.
definitely tell.
So they said that when they picked up that ball, that's why the refs switched the ball out. That's what allegedly happened. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not trying to Patriot hate. whatever. But
Well,
that's
you know what's
apparently what
interesting?
they're investigating.
Is that they were only fined $25,000 for that, but with Spygate, they got, I think that was the highest fine ever. They got $250,000 or something ridiculous with that.
But when you think
Once
about
a cheater,
it,
always a cheater. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I hate to say it. I know this is like sounds crazy, but if you really think about it, that's probably not that big of a deal to a team that makes millions
they don't
of
care
dollars.
about the fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
But
Just like-
it is
Yeah.
crazy because, you know, why is it? And I ask you guys this because I know that I'm a Jets fan, so I might have a different opinion. But I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, 75% of fans don't like Tom Brady. They think he gets the pretty boy. He gets all this stuff.
Why
is
do
it
they call him
because
pretty boy?
because the way he acts?
How
Because
does he act?
Who
you
he's
know,
married to?
I wanted to
Does he
say
have a hot wife?
something.
He's
no,
pretty boy?
No.
I
but
wanted to
a
say
lot of
something.
people have this opinion of him, and I'm not just saying me. Like I was up in Lake
It's the
Tahoe.
Uggs campaign.
Maybe it's that, but people call them the cheaters. People call him pretty boy, and it's
Well,
like
what-
there's other quarterbacks that are really, really good that people don't accuse of cheating. People don't. So why does this happen around the Patriots?
Well, remember what LeVar said last week about how people may be like, well, he has it all. He's got this hot wife. He's got,
But Aaron
kids.
Rodgers has it all.
He's got, he's a Super Bowl winner, 3-time Super Bowl winner. He's, good looking. He's got all, the people may think, well, he just has it all. Like that's why they might not
So they
like
just want to
him.
hate on him because of the
Right.
fact that
And today, go figure, I was doing social media at work, and on our Twitter account, someone tweeted something about, like, it's not fair. Tom Brady has it all. Like, he shouldn't be in the Super Bowl. He's got a
that's
hot wife
dumb.
and
That's
a
just
great
stupid,
fa-
yeah.
Yeah, and it was
That's
like,
dumb.
stupid.
and so I think a lot of people might think that. And then that might
But we don't
fuel
think that
their
about other
dislike.
people.
But that might fuel their dislike for him.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at
think
Aaron
about it,
Rodgers.
but-
He's gonna
but-
get MVP. He's dating Olivia Munn. He's got it going on pretty well too.
Right,
Like,
but look
people
at
don't hate him.
but look at
But he's crippled though
any
as well.
other
So they feel,
But even years previously.
any other quarterback in the league.
Tony Romo used to have the hot chick.
No,
Yeah.
he's got a hot
Yeah,
wife.
Well,
but
yeah, now
people,
he's-
people
But
don't
Tony
hate
Romo's
him.
not good looking. Yeah, people hate Tony Romo.
But not,
Are you kidding me?
I mean, yes, they hate him, but not the same feelings that they have towards Tom Brady.
yeah,
it's a different.
No,
Jay
I know
Cutler
what
has
you
it all.
mean.
Jay Cutler.
He's the richest person in
But
the
he's
NFL.
not good
he has a hot
looking.
wife.
He's
I
not
think
good looking.
Yeah, but he's not ugly. He didn't
He's
fall out of the
ugly.
ugly tree. I don't think so. I think
He
he's
looks
good
a
looking.
little-
I think he's handsome.
Now you know
But
what
people could say that. I'm just saying
You know,
for that point, people could say that. But I guess he's not good. He's not winning.
right.
Yeah, he's not winning.
No, I get
If-
where you're coming from, Steph, and I agree with you that a lot of people do feel that
Right.
way about Tom Brady and the Patriots.
My only thing about Brady is sometimes
The
I feel
tuck rule. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happened
I-
around. 13 years ago today was tuck rule.
That was
Yeah.
true against the Raiders.
Yeah.
But
Tuckgate.
Yeah, Tuckgate. There you go.
Tuckgate, Spygate, Bowlgate, Deflategate.
Deflategate.
I
wonder
don't
what they're gonna
like-
do with
That's
the
a
Super-
triple gate.
Listen,
Time
at
to
the end of
go.
the day, Tom Brady is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. All that other stuff is just nonsense. That's like, you go watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I feel like
That's
this.
just
I agree
stupid
with
stuff.
you.
No, I don't watch that. But what
No,
I
I'm
was
just
gonna say,
saying
what
to
he's
like
saying
to
is
like
for
to
people
even
to hate him
entertain
for
that
that.
stuff is
Yeah.
like, dude,
My
if you
only
really want to
issue-
like revel in that, like go watch
only
a
issue with
reality.
Tom
But there's
Brady
some
is-
validity to it. The tuck rule, Spygate, like
Yeah.
there is some stuff that happened regarding that team that created that Kardashian, I mean, that's a terrible analogy. But you know what I mean? There is,
But then again-
people didn't just create this.
You have
Yeah,
to
but
realize-
let me tell you
Like, are
something.
people still
Let me tell you
pissed
something.
that they
For me,
Probably.
that's almost like
Yeah.
Reggie Bush losing his Heisman based on whatever was going on with the whole NCAA
family
thing.
had a house in
His
San
family-
Diego that was
that
being
does
paid
not
for.
all the players know that does not negate what he did between those
Oh, of course.
lines.
Yep.
So
Right, but there's still
all this
not a big
controversy
enough
around Tom
stigma
Brady does
around
not
him.
negate
No.
what his
Reggie Bush
what his
also
ability
was
and
dating the
accomplishments are.
Kardashian. You know what I mean?
He
Like
was,
there's still,
yeah.
but still
Way to
to
bring it
this
back to the
day,
Kardashians.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
God,
Like this
why do we
day and
have to-
age, people still don't despise Reggie Bush. There's
Yeah.
not as much drama and talk about him,
Well,
and he's
al-
still pretty good.
He's also not winning as much as Brady. But,
Right.
But
I'm just saying.
The only
It's
thing
just
I can
interesting.
say that there's validity to Brady in regards to the cheating, those scandals and stuff, which is not him really. That's more of this team. But the thing about Brady that you will hear a lot of people say
It is his team.
is
It's
that,
not really him. It's his team.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
a lot of as far as Brady directly, I'll hear a lot of people say. I've even heard NFL analysts say this about Brady that sometimes he needs to take his skirt off and play football because he complains a lot about calls in the night. He gets the most roughing the passer calls and things of that sort, or illegal hits, whatever it is, towards him more than anyone else, and he's always complaining. And I think I think Tom Brady doesn't exude the toughness that other quarterbacks have. To me personally, I don't think he's that tough a quarterback.
Right, but my whole point was, do you think that these things like the tuck rule, these things like Spygate, do you think if Tom Brady was playing for Green Bay, would people hate Tom Brady as much? I'm saying, is it Tom Brady and the Patriots together as one?
No, I mean, well,
you know what I mean?
They're
Like,
kind of
does that
synonymous.
paint the picture for him to be on top of all that? He's got to be the winning quarterback.
Well, I mean,
they cheated, so that's why he's got to be so good. Like, do people think that? I'm just curious.
If you have listen, you're already the quarterback, so you're already a target.
Right.
But he's even a bigger target based on what he's accomplished and whatever. Blah,
and who
blah,
he's
blah.
married to and all that.
You're right.
And
so
then his team cheated.
And the fact that he's
Allegedly.
regardless of
past,
whatever, he
that's
has this huge target. He's even a bigger target than the average quarterback.
Right.
Okay, he had a knee injury, correct? Right? Didn't he have like a?
That was in 2008.
But that's what I'm saying. Would he be
No,
just the
right,
biggest target
but-
on a different team?
Yeah, because I think
I think so.
It's the way that he plays, the way that he, as Kevin said, he complains at every call and stuff like that. I don't think it would have mattered what team he's on. I think it just maybe fuels the fire.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It fuels it.
The Patriots have done all this stuff in the past and whatnot.
I mean, at the end of the day, when you complain enough, you're a marquee
Squeaky
guy.
wheel gets the oil.
Listen, and a lot of guys complain. A lot of guys complain, but they complain beyond their pay grade, so to speak, or they're not marquee enough to complain to get the calls.
Right.
You have a guy like this who's a marquee player that has the reputation that
he's
he has,
gonna get the calls,
and he's accomplished a lot of what he's accomplished. He's gonna get the calls.
Yeah.
A lot of players in every sport have complained, and the best players get the calls that they want.
Look at Jordan.
Jordan complained his ass off,
yeah,
and he got calls that he wanted to get because he was Jordan.
Yeah,
Kobe too. So I mean, that's just part of the game. That's part of the sports. Like they figure like, okay, well, he knows the game. This guy's one of the best to ever do it. So I'm gonna give him the call. I'll give it to you next time, Tom. Okay, I got you, Tom. Next time. This other guy who's not quite as whatever. It's like shut up, get back over there.
It's like they yell at the refs to get their psyche so that the next call that's like on the line, they're like, well, the last one.
It's like talking crap to players and getting in their head. It's like, refs are they're still human beings. So they still absorb things that are, being told to them or whatever by players. And it affects the game. It definitely affects the game. And if you see games lopsided because the player is talking crap or he's, talking to the refs and he's in their ear, jibber-jabbering in their ear, it's going to definitely affect the game.
Well, yeah, I mean, just realize, with any sport, particularly football, if you're the quarterback, you're already going to get scrutinized. But if you're a winning quarterback historically that is always winning, you're going to be scrutinized more than pretty much anyone else out there. So,
also, not to cut you off, but remember that the league had this big thing where they're coming down and finding guys for, no helmet-to-helmet contact. And this, the NFL has turned quarterbacks into pansies anyway. And I just think maybe Brady capitalized on that. Think about it. It's a rule now. It's a rule now. It's a rule that the NFL is now pushing and imposing. And now Tom Brady is just like, you're supposed to call that, right?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that, right? What are you doing? Make that call. That's part of the rule book. That's the rule.
Like Cam Newton complaining when he's getting hit.
Right.
He gets
Cam
right back
Newton's
up.
not that type of player.
He's not that type of
player.
player.
He's not a pocket passer.
So what's acceptable for that player? They're not going to call.
Right. So let's move on and
I
talk
don't see
about
Luck getting all those calls.
Our predictions for the Super Bowl.
Luck has no luck.
He says Luck has no luck.
And now,
none.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So
I love Tom Brady and his hot wife. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, she is pretty hot. We have the Pro Bowl this weekend. Who I just saw today
what?
that
Pro Bowl.
the Pro Bowl.
What is that again?
Okay, I don't know what you're trying to do.
All right, go ahead. So the Pro Bowl this
Anyways,
weekend.
I saw
in
that.
case anyone doesn't know, the Pro Bowl is one of the least watched all-star games of all the professional
It doesn't matter. I was
sports.
just making a
Pretty
comment that
much
the Pro
irrelevant.
Bowl is this
It's-
weekend,
you know-
and next weekend after that is the Super Bowl.
Real quick though, have you ever been to the Pro Bowl?
No, it's always been in Hawaii. So
Yeah, I've been. It's kind of one of the most fun things to ever go to, just PS, because you have people there from every team wearing every jersey. The players are having fun. Like, I mean, maybe on TV it's irrelevant because there's no winner and there's no like rah,
And no
rah,
one really
rah,
plays hard.
No one tackles,
plays
yeah.
hard and
Like,
stuff, but to experience it and then on top of it, you're in Hawaii. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah,
The
well,
thing
they
I've
are
never
in
liked about the
Arizona
Pro Bowl,
this
sorry not to
year.
cut you off, But the one thing I don't like about the Pro Bowl is how it's right before the Super Bowl, and there's some guys in the Super Bowl that.
Well, no,
they
Matt
used to
Ryan.
have
Like that.
No, remember
Matt
they used to have
Ryan
to after the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
but
Matt
they changed it
Ryan
to do it
replaced
before.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, but they changed it before the Super Bowl to get more viewership because leading up to the Super Bowl, they figured that would bring more of a fan base to watch it
Right.
because having it afterwards, fans really weren't tuning in anyway.
Right.
But I don't think it's really helped moving it before the Super Bowl. I don't know.
Anyways, so we have, like we said, the Seahawks and the Patriots, which is, young quarterback versus veteran. Young, or not young, but newer NFL coach to veteran champion NFL coach. I mean, we've got a lot of great matchups here. So let's get your prediction as well as, we can talk a little bit about why you think whoever you pick is going to win and, the matchups, whatever. Let's chat a little bit about that. We can start with you, Steph.
I always have to go first.
Fine. We'll start with Thaddeus.
Okay.
Well,
Or I'll go first.
I think it'll definitely.
I don't want to go.
It'll definitely be a good game, and Tom Brady just might have a Peyton Manning Super Bowl like last year.
You think so?
He just might.
So you're going Seahawks.
This is really a tough call, but I'm like 55-45.
You got to pick one.
Yeah, I'm like 55-45 Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going Patriots. I think that yes, at home I would have leaned more towards choosing the Seahawks, but on neutral ground, I feel like I can count more on Tom Brady and his supporting cast than I can on Russell Wilson and his supporting cast. I just feel like the Patriots they want it more. I don't know. Not that the Seahawks don't want it, but I just feel like Bill Belichick, regardless if you like him or not, is going to go down in history as one of, if not the best coaches of all time. You see his crazy play calling and these eligible receivers like we talked about, just things that the Edelman, fake pass,
right.
Stuff like that, he's always changing stuff up. He's always like that. They were saying that whole eligible receiver thing is going to be like looked at because everyone's saying like, well, is that even
like he's cheating again?
Yeah, well, not that he's cheating, but they're like they just have it's never been done before the way that he's done it, and so they're like, there's all these questions surrounding it, like, well, everyone's just so confused but it's like that just goes to show you what a great coaching mind he is.
Out of the box.
Just he's trying to do anything and everything to win and to confuse the other players and whatnot, but then to Pete Carroll and the Seahawks testament, they do similar stuff. So I think it's going to be a really, really good matchup. But I just want to, I put my hat on, whatever, Tom Brady for this one. And I'm going with the Pats.
What about you, Kevin?
Well, first things first, you got to realize Brady and Belichick have lost the last 2 times they've been to the Super Bowl.
So they're due.
I highly doubt they're going to lose 3 times in a row. Well, not consecutively years, but just the last 3 times, I highly doubt they'll lose 3. So with that being said, I'm going to give the Patriots the edge. Also because we don't know yet the injuries to Earl Thomas and I think they're getting MRIs.
Yeah.
Earl Thomas, because that's the Legion of Boom. And the thing is, if they're injured, then Brady can go to work on that secondary.
Yeah.
And that's going to play a huge role. So I'm going to give, I think the Seahawks are great. I mean, if everyone's healthy, I still think that they are the better team. But I just feel that the Patriots are a lot more hungrier this year, partly because they run the last 2 and also because how many more times will Brady be able to go back, to the Super Bowl in the final few years of his career?
Come on, English teacher.
Well, just to capitalize on what you're saying,
hungrier.
Kevin.
Absolutely.
Just to capitalize on what you're saying, I think the Seahawks will feel like beating the Patriots and such a dynasty-esque team is going to stamp them not being the fluke of the Super Bowl winning last year and like stamping them as a solid champion.
Well, first of all, you got to realize, honestly, the Seahawks shouldn't even be in the Super Bowl this year.
Well, how are they?
God loves the Seahawks.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Okay, but you're talking about a team that won the Super Bowl last year.
They did.
This is not like this team came out of nowhere.
It's not like the Panthers are going.
Right.
Yeah.
So they won the Super Bowl. These are the defending champions, and they made it back.
I agree.
And regardless of how they got there, they found a way to make it back to the championship.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you kind of got to give them that much respect where you say, well...
No. I said I think they're the better team.
Right.
If you look at both of them and the Patriots, I said I think the Seahawks are the better team. I just feel... so if the Seahawks do end up winning, I wouldn't be shocked at that.
Right.
But I just feel that the Patriots are more hungrier. And I feel that they're due to win. I cannot see Belichick and Brady losing 3 straight in the Super Bowl. I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, statistically speaking, it's best on the numbers. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just really can't see that.
All right, Steph, you've had plenty of time to mull it over here.
No, I don't even want to pick.
You gotta pick
I'm
one.
gonna pick the Seahawks because I just can't pick the Patriots. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a good game. I hope so. If anything. If it is going to be a blowout, I agree with Thaddeus that it's going to be a blowout on the Seahawks side. I feel like that would be what happens. I don't think the Seahawks are going to get blown out. I don't know how Tom Brady, like he's great. I get it. I don't know how well he'll do against a healthy Seahawks defense.
Right, but that's a big question.
Right, but you don't know. So in my mind, if they're healthy, I don't think he'll be able to score 45 points on them. And I feel like Russell Wilson is in a place of like, I got a gift. Like, that last game was a gift, so now I need to get it together, and I need to show up for this next game. Yeah. And I think winning back-to-back Super Bowls is something that fuels them more than the third time's a charm for a Belichick Brady. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks.
Also, another reason why I chose the Seahawks is because I feel like the Seahawks will be able to better establish the run against the Patriots than the Patriots would be able to do against them. And that's gonna be a big deal. Yeah, that's gonna be a big deal for this game.
But it's gonna be real hard for them to shut down Gronk.
I mean, he didn't do. I mean, he
Gronk
was
is
almost.
just nasty.
Yeah, but if they could shut down, the running game,
his numbers really weren't. He only had like 3 receptions for 20 yards.
He dropped a few passes.
If they shut down LeGarrette Blount in the running game, which I feel that they will, I don't think that their running game is going to be half as productive as it was this week. Then they're going to have a tough time.
Oh, they still got weapons.
They do, but I'm just saying they're going to have a much tougher time not establishing that run.
I agree.
And I believe that the Beast is still going to be the Beast and still do his thing.
We will see.
Yeah, you'll see us in 2 weeks.
I can't believe the season's already over. It's crazy.
Speaking of which, some of us may be at the Super Bowl reporting for you guys, so stay tuned.
It won't be me, but
it won't be live.
Guys, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Stef Z. I believe in the lower third right here it says that now.
Perfect. Our producer just affirmed that. You can find me also on Twitter and Instagram at HeyKevinJohn. Says it right there.
You can find me on all social media at Club Thaddeus.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tina Cap.
Boom.
Boom, chicka boom.
So, yes, we didn't even get to mention all of the new coaching hires, too. Gary Kubiak to the Broncos, John Fox to the Bears.
That's next season.
Shout me out.
Go ahead. I'll let you shout yourself out.
No. I want you to be excited about my Jets. Come on. It's one of the last shows. I'm not going to do it.
Who you got? Who'd you guys get?
I'm not doing it.
You guys got
You guys got like Tim Tebow to coach you or something.
Oh, shut the
Come on, Steph.
door. No.
Who'd you guys get again?
Be excited for me.
I am excited for you. I'm very excited.
I actually wanted us to get Dan Quinn, but that didn't happen, and it looks like he's going to go to the Falcons. We got Foles.
Oh, that's right.
I think he's going to do great things for us.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
There's a lot of work needs to be done over there.
I can't believe you couldn't even do that. You couldn't even give me that one.
Who is the starting quarterback for them going into next year?
Us? Geno Smith still.
Out.
Hey, I'd rather have Geno Smith than
see you in 2 weeks, guys.
Jameis Winston.
Oh.
I'd rather keep Smith.
Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later. It's bold.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.